Okay, class, I'm back, and you can see him quite a bit further. Now I'm at the point where I want to just really analyze the overall look of this face and compare it to this face. Okay, now realize this is a photo. So a photo is a flat rendition of a three-dimensional person. Okay, so it's good to have the actual person in front of you. Now when I look at this face here, I think I've drawn it probably because I emphasize this line a little bit too much, this area here. Almost like the face is a little skinnier than that face, okay? So I'm thinking that I need to show a little more on the chin here, a little whiter in this area, which will make my chin look a little fuller and not quite so sort of skinny and pointy. And then I think I need to bring this part of my sort of jowls down a little bit. Okay, so I'm a little white there. Now, a couple other things. My nose, when I look at this picture, the nose to me looks pretty white in this area, real light. This looks a little too flat and brown, okay? So I don't get that impression when I look up close, but when I hold these things far away the way you're seeing them right now, I can make some better judgments. Like I think it looks a lot whiter in this nose area here than I've shown in here, okay? So I'm gonna add some more white to that area. Just lightly gonna start making that a little bit whiter because the nose is catching a lot of light. And so these are these fine-tuning things you're gonna do that you will then step back. Oh, look what I'm doing. I'm kind of smearing this. It'd be a good idea to get a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to quick grab something here. And piece of scrap paper to kind of cover that up there so I'm not rubbing my hand over the top of that. Okay? So once again, I'm looking at this face, quite a bit whiter now in here, but I think it's also white in this area a little bit. Now a little whiter. And you can definitely see the difference. There's almost an edge between here and here. So I'm throwing a little white on top of that to really separate that a little bit more. Okay, let's see what else. A little white. I think a little more white up in this temple area here. That's a little lighter. I think I could be a little lighter up here. So you can see when you get to that point where you're getting closer, that's when you're really gonna step back and look at these things from a distance. Because sometimes when you're up close, you see details, but you don't see the overall picture. But further away, you can see the overall picture. I need to fade that white away a little bit. Okay? Now, a couple other things. You can use the white and black charcoal sticks. And I do that when I start doing larger areas. So when I come down here on the shirt, you know, I might take my black, because I'm doing a large area here, and I'm gonna go and just go a little bit more, a little looser with the black. The shirt was dark, so I'm gonna go like this and use the side of that, but I'm just not gonna fill it in solid black. And let's say that the shirt is lighter on the shoulder, so I'm gonna leave it lighter, and darker in here. You know, it's got some ripples in it. Underneath the collar, I'm gonna make it pretty dark so that collar pops out a little bit more. Okay, here's the, I don't know what you'd call the buttoned area. It's got some wrinkles in it. This part folds over, so I'm gonna make sure that this underneath here gets darker, so it looks like the collar folds over. The other thing I could do, if I wanna make an edge stand out, maybe I take just a little bit of white and throw just a little bit of white along this edge here, just so I make the edge of that collar pop out a little bit more. Okay, and I could blend it in a little more gradually. I'm going to take that white and kind of bring it up into here a little bit, more of a gray. And the same thing up in there. So make it a little lighter along the top of his collar here, because I think maybe light's hitting from the back there. Okay. And then, you know, if you wanted to smooth it out, you could do that. It doesn't all have to be the same texture. You can have some areas that are smoother, so I could use my finger. Of course, you're going to get dirty. You're going to have to clean it off a little later. Then the last thing I would do when you finally get to the point where you think, hey, I'm pretty close to being done now, okay? Then what I would do is, now I could show you this later on the computer, but I take a photo of this thing on the computer. Now obviously you can't do it at home now because it's the coronavirus, so maybe you don't have access to the program. But when deciding on my background, I'll take a picture of this thing. I'll bring it into Photoshop. I'll click on the background and I'll try different variations in the background before I commit to doing it right here. Okay? Actually, it looks like the shoulder comes off this way a little bit more. Okay? Notice I went beyond where I'm going to go. I'm going to matte this later, and then matte's going to cover that up. Okay, that's it for now.